Now, let me ask you this question. Where does UCLA go from here?
By the way, just randomly thinking to myself that like we could probably have done the whole show just on this thing because of how many different linears or not linears, verticals that we could have taken with this. Because that was the next thing that I wanted to bring up is like, where does UCLA sit? David Shaw's been brought up. His son is a wide receiver on the team. That one can make sense just to bring in a guy who's been around, who understands the circumstance of trying to run a program that's got academic issues, or not issues, but restrictions. And they're one of those schools that's on like the quarter system that makes it a little tricky with trying to get guys in for admission's sake. He makes sense. PJ Fleck denied it. Which
Brent Brennan denied it.
Yeah. Tom Herman is somebody who has a connection to the athletic director from when they were both at Ohio State, I believe. But the one for me that I'm going to go do that has two impacts here is D'Anton Lynn, who was just hired away as the USC defensive coordinator. You go and get Lynn, roster continuity, coaching staff continuity. You're not having to reshuffle much. You've got the team figured out. They're ready to rock. Most of those guys are not going to leave. And you also get to give a nice middle finger to USC, who stole the guy who is an up-and-coming coach in the industry. So I think you need to call D'Anton Lynn. The guy doesn't even need to move or look for a new house unless he wants to get a bigger one. Offer him as much money as he needs, double his coordinator's salary, and I think he takes the gig. I understand David Shaw because of his experience being a successul head coach.
I would not go
D'Anton Lynn is the guy.
I would not go David Shaw. I think that can I be real with you? I like David Shaw. I never understood the hype. Ever.
Well, because Stanford was good, but they were never elite.
He was good because of Harbaugh, the way that Harbaugh left that place.
Yeah.
He wasn't good because of himself. He ran that place into the ground a little. Like, let's not.
Well,
now,
okay, but
Troy Taylor's another guy whose name has constantly come up in this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a good another really probably guy that not a lot of people talk about that I think that could get that job. But Lynn being the guy, look, he's recruited there. He knows the ramifications. I think that you got to go make him your head coach, because I do think, Joe, that there was a reason that UCLA was a top defensive team this year, okay, in a conference that had a lot of really good offenses. I think that it would be because of where you're at the current moment. I don't want to say it's your only move. It's your smartest move, because you would keep a lot of the guys that are on that roster to stay there, maintain there. And we've seen him recruit defensively at a really good level there. And I got to be real with you, Joe. If he had success at UCLA from a recruiting standpoint and brought in the personnel at UCLA, what is he going to do as a head coach? And I got to tell you something. I wouldn't be surprised, to be real with you. What if he goes into UCLA, or if somebody goes into UCLA and recruits at a higher level and starts getting them back a little bit on track? How bad does that look on Chip Kelly? Because I do think that you get to a place where you have to ask yourself the question, was this a Chip Kelly laziness and recruiting thing on why they didn't have success? And I do think that Lynn could be the guy that goes in there and really brings in some really good talent. I fully believe that.
I think that at the very least, D'Anton Lynn is somebody who has proven creativity in roster construction and utilization with the guys that he turned into highly productive football players. I mean, the Murphy twins this past year, I don't think they were crazy highly recruited, but they were two of the best defensive linemen in the country, and that was why this defense was so good this year. Lietu Latu is a phenomenal player.
The only reason that they won football games was
because of Lynn. It was because of D'Anton Lynn. Their offense was a cluster F. Yeah, absolutely. I think that.
Wait, Chip Kelly's offense was a cluster F? Huh.
Okay. All right.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not a fan of being that shady.
I don't think it's shadiness. I think it's just like him. It's like skittishness. You know, it's him not having the nuts to step up to the table and say, you know what? I didn't get this thing right. I'm stepping out, and he should have stepped out at the end of the season. I will say, though, this actually, in a way, they don't have to pay his buyout, and then they get money from Ohio State. I mean, that's a little bit of a big.
Yeah, but
big
they're going to
brain
have to
move.
go use that money for their own buyout. Like if they got to go, if they go get Troy Taylor, it's all going to be a wash. The money's not
I'm
the
mostly
issue.
joking. I know, I'm mostly
But
joking. BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.